Good afternoon. Dear students, today we are going to discuss how to write a research proposal, how to write a research project report, and how to present it. This topic is very significant for you as well as for beginners. So before getting started with writing, you have to create time for writing. Then write when your mind is fresh. Find a regular writing place in your reading room. Then you need to set goals. How many words, how many pages you are going to write, then achieve them. Then use word processing. You can generate a plan for the report. Then finish each writing session on a high point. After completing your writing, you may get someone or get your friends to read and comment on your work for further improvement. Let's take a look at the structure of research problem. These are the common structure of writing a research proposal. So research proposal should include introduction, problem statement, or motivation of the study. Then you need to write your research objectives, research questions, research hypothesis. Then you need to include also conceptual framework or theoretical framework. Then briefly, literature review. You need to include methodology, including research design, sampling, instrumentation, etc. Then you need to include expected outcome and significance of the study. And finally, you need to provide references. Okay. Then let me discuss what is the difference between introduction and background of this study, because we include introduction in the research proposal. Sometimes we write background of the study in the research proposal. So what is the difference between introduction and background of the study? Yeah, there is a difference between introduction and background of the study. So you should not be confused. Introduction will contain the preliminary information about your research topic, your research questions, your research objectives, and readers will be learning in your paper. So it is simply an overview of your research questions or objectives or your thesis topic, research topic. That means it will address what the study will entail. On the other hand, the background of your study is more in depth and explains why your research topic is worth the time of your readers. Background of the study will tell readers context to the information that you have talked about throughout your research paper. It can include both relevant and essential studies. The background of the study discusses existing data on your topic. The problem statement is what you identify as an issue with supporting data. Lastly, the background of the study tells the reader from your point of view why the study is needed. Let me talk about how to write a problem statement. once you have identified a research problem, issues, or research topic for your project, the next step is to write a problem statement. You should keep in mind that problem statement must be concise and concrete. So, how to make it concise, precise, and concrete? First step. There are 4 steps. Although I have stated here 3, one is missing from here, but I will include in my discussion. Okay. So, step 1. Conceptualize the problem. That means the problem statement should frame your research problem in its particular context and give some background on what is already known about it. Then, for example, let me give you an example. We have two types of research problem. Number 1 is practical research problems. Number 2 is theoretical research problem. However, we'll talk about theoretical research problems here. For theoretical research, we have to think about the scientific, social, geographical, or historical background of the study. So we can try to answer 3 questions. Okay. Number 1, what is already known about the problem? This is question 1. We need to answer this question. Then, second question, is the problem limited to a certain time period or geographical area? We need to answer this question. Thirdly, we need to answer, how has the problem been defined and debated in the scholarly literature? Okay. So, in the first step, we need to answer these 3 questions. Okay. Then second step, which is missing in the slide, but listen to me. Describe the precise issue that the research will address. That means we can ask ourselves, what do we need to know? Okay. Then step 3, show why it matters. Show the relevance of the problem. Why do we need to know it? The problem statement, that means the problem statement should address the relevance of the research, why it is important that the problem is solved. This does not mean that you have to do something groundbreaking or world changing. You are not going to change the whole world, the entire world. Okay. It's more important that the problem is researchable, feasible, and clearly addresses a relevant issue in your mind, in your field. Okay. For example, sometimes theoretical issues have clear practical consequences, but sometimes their relevance is less immediately obvious. To identify why the problem matters, answer 3 questions. We can answer 3 questions again. Number 1, how will resolving the problem advance understanding of the topic? Second question, what benefits will it have for future research? Third question, does the problem have direct or indirect consequences for society? Then step 4, set your aims and objectives. Okay, what will you do? What will you do to find out? That means the problem statement should frame how you intend to address the problem. Your goal should not be to find a conclusive solution, but to seek out the reasons behind the problem and propose more effective approaches to tackling or understanding it. Then let's talk about how to formulate a research question. What is research question? The research question is one of the most parts of your research paper, thesis or dissertation. The research question is the question around which you center your research. So a good research question is essential to guide your research paper, your project, or your thesis. It pinpoints exactly what you want to find out and gives your work a clear focus and purpose. A research question is an answerable inquiry into a specific concern or issue. It is the initial step in a research project. The initial step means after you have an idea of what you want to study, the research question is the first active step in the research project. It is important to spend some time assessing and refining your question before you get started. So how to write a research questions? Writing a good research questions means you have something you want to study. The exact form of your question will depend on the length of your project, the type of research, the topic, and the research problem. But all research questions should be vibrant, that means clear. It provides enough specifics that one's audience can easily understand its purpose without needing additional explanation. Then it should be focused and researchable. It should be narrow enough, and it can be answered thoroughly in the space the writing task allows. Then it should be feasible and specific, concise. Okay, it is expressed in the fewest possible words. Then appropriately complex and debatable. It is not answerable with a simple yes or no, but rather require synthesis and analysis of ideas and sources prior to composition of an answer. Its potential answers are open to debate rather than accepted facts. Then it should be relevant and original to a social or a scholarly issue. Let me give you an example, okay? Few examples. Let's look at the first question. What effect does social media have on people's mind? Then second question, what effect does daily use of Twitter have on the attention span of under 16s? So the first question is not specific enough. What type of social media, which people, what kind of effects? But the second question defines its concept more clearly. It is researchable through qualitative and quantitative data collection. Then let's look at question 3 and 4. Why is there a housing crisis in the Netherlands? Then question 4. What impact have university internationalization policies had on the availability and affordability of housing in the Netherlands? So starting with why often means that your question is not focused enough. So do not use or do not start your research question with why. Okay? There are too many possible answers and no clear starting point for research. By targeting just one aspect of the problem and using more specific terms, the fourth question offers a clear path to finding an answer. Okay. So research question 6. Important steps to developing a research question. First, choose an interesting general topic. Second step, do some preliminary research on your general topic. Then step 3.